I finally figured out the sound on my camera, so I'm back. I made a video years back, going through chronologically most of what I remember or what has come up in regards to my childhood, and the sexual abuse. And yesterday I was watching almost a 3-hour long conversation. It's a podcast called We're All Insane. It's a woman, 10 years younger than me, I think. She is talking about her being raised by a serial rapist, her dad. And that, just along with my own, like, where I'm at, along with what came up in, this is going to be all over the place, along with what came up in my morning pages, because so much time has passed since I made the last recording, and there's so much more of me. There is so much I've become aware of. So I wanted to, mostly for my own sake, I think, I need to talk it through. I need to share it to get it out. So it's kind of just like a re-reflection, and by doing that, getting to know where I'm at in terms of my own relationship to myself and my truth and my story and everything, I guess. So the woman in the podcast, she said, I want to share my story chronologically, so I want to begin at the beginning. And when I was thinking about making this video, I'm like, where do I begin? And it seems like the nexus point for me is, hoping I'm using that word right now, but like the point for me, the starting point kind of is when I first discovered in 2016, when I got this through meditation or inner processing, I got this image, or it's not what, when people talk about flashbacks, how I understand that is that it's a visual, like very visual re-remembering. But for me it was felt. It's like seeing based on energy, seeing based on feeling. Not a clear snapshot of the past. So I had multiple memories in that first period of few months, and just thinking about the hell of those following years of going in and out of confusion and denial, utter confusion, utter denial. It was just like, it's weird thinking about how maybe I have this expectation or anticipation that this is going to be something I can work myself through, I can be done with it, I can be healed from it. And why am I not done yet? And how am I still struggling with this? And I think the truth is, I am not grasping Like I had a moment this morning because of what I was writing my morning pages, and it was one part of me was emotional, and I was trying to like I was writing it out, and then I'm trying to kind of like put myself in front of this part that's speaking so I can kind of like really get into reality of, okay, this is me speaking, this is an aspect of me. An immediate resistance. The part didn't, it was just like, no, I don't want you, like I don't want myself. So that part was kind of, I was imagining talking to my practitioner, and I was trying to investigate or explore, why do you not want my adult self? And what came up is that my adult self is so often blended with a part that, this happens all the time in therapy as well, that my practitioner has to remind me, actually your adult self, she's showing up day after day, like week after week, year after year. She is really dedicated to getting to know her truth, to getting to know you. And I am. But then there are all these defenses. And what I realized is there's this part blended with me that's so often trying to, so when that feeling part's there, that feeling part feels like the other part is kind of like, I have to feel into it to explain it. Feels like it's going to be like I'm not going to be heard. It's this captive feeling. It's not captive. I'm really struggling to remember. Or yeah, doesn't help feeling the time pressure of recording. Also knowing that I will not be editing, so I cannot just clip out my own silence. You have to kind of be present with me through the breaks and all, or through the thinking and feeling. Well, maybe it will come back. But the overall feeling, when I realized, okay, that feeling part is expecting me to show up from another part. So there's another part. I became aware more of that other part because I wasn't. I'm kind of operating from that, and that observing those two made me realize again, 1,000 realizations for things to sink in. But it made me realize how, wow, this is really what I had to do to survive. Like, this is the level of, I have to be okay with what's here, and it's so hard to explain. It's just this, you're supposed to exist in a reality that is not supposed to be recognized, and you're not supposed to have any feelings in regards to that reality, which is not supposed to be recognized. So what do I do with all of my truth, all of my feelings, all of my reactions to what's happening, which is not happening? Like, how do you do that? It's like this impossible, disorienting, trying to create a life that's not a life. It's just messed up. It's really disorienting. And in the podcast, the woman, Kelsy is her name, I remember now. So She said after, I wonder if it was after, because she first witnessed her sister being raped, and then she was raped a year later by her dad. Same dad as raped her sister. And I think it was after her being raped that she had this, she was feeling just so low and in so much pain, and she had this moment of being in an angelic presence and making this agreement that I will not remember this until later. I want to forget, but I don't want to forget forever. And she talked about it in the later part of the podcast, how normal she has come to learn that, like, suppression, repression, how normal it is. And the first therapist she sought out, like a trauma therapist or a trauma expert, she said in the first session, like, I was raped by my dad too, and I didn't remember until in my 40s, or until I was 40. Kelsy remembered when she was 19, so 10 years after she was raped. It's just wild how that's possible. But I'm thinking, there are so many things I'm thinking. Like, having my practitioner probably last year gave me this exercise. Like, imagine when I'm struggling with a situation, I'm like, I don't know what to do because I'm so messed up and entangled in my own twisted conditioning. He's like, imagining you have a 6-year-old daughter. She is in the same situation as you. How would you react? Like, how do you think she feels? Like, is this okay or is it not okay? And it makes such a difference. Because there's so many things I tolerate with in my own life that I wouldn't tolerate for her. And I think when I was journaling this morning, when I was writing my morning pages, and after that, when I was doing my workout, I had a moment of, like, it's like a tiny slither of a realization or awareness of how much I'm actually affected by what happened to me. I think I still must carry so much the expectation of function normally. Be normal, whatever normal is, you know? Don't have these feelings, don't have these reactions, don't have these beliefs, don't have these patterns. Don't have them. Just, I mean, that's my whole childhood upbringing. Don't have any of yourself. It's just fucked up. I think it's hard maybe to take in as well. Like, this is such a strange feeling because I'm talking about something that is, I can kind of like mentally see it or feel it, but it's not in my body. It's not, I can see it, but I can't really understand or take it in. But like, how the fact that the damage is done forever. Like, there are things that have been taken away from me or robbed from me, or I will, maybe it's not right to say I will never get to experience something, because maybe that's possible, but something will always be there that I can't take away, can't get away from it. It'll always be with me. It's like if you've seen your best friend being shot in the head, like, that's traumatizing, and you can never forget that. It will live with you forever. It's same as soldiers going to war, people going to war, seeing those horrible things, you know. It will never leave you. It's a burden you live with. I think that's hard to accept. Seems obvious that it's hard to accept because I'm not grasping it. I'm not grasping it. I'm in the process of grasping it. If I'm speaking it, I'm in the process. But what Kelsy also said in the podcast, it's because her sister, this is so insane. When Kelsy was 19 and she started remembering, her sister also started transitioning. So she is now a he. And he doesn't remember anything. Lots of nightmares about being raped. But after Kelsy remembered and told her mom and told her now brother, the brother was having a lot of nightmares about being raped. And attributed that to, oh, I just feel bad for my sister because she was raped. And it's so, like Kelsy said, he has tried to remove himself from what happened to him as far as he can. He changed gender. Like, imagine doing that because you can't live with what happened. That's drastic. That's not your truth. That's a trauma response, or a trauma. It's a result of trauma. And they both had, so messed up, when they were kids. And after the sister, Noah, the brother now, after she was raped and Kelsy witnessed that, and the sister started having a lot of symptoms. And then after Kelsy was raped, she started having a lot of symptoms. They were both medicated. OCD, something, Harrison pills. And I'm thinking about, I'll say one more thing. Because one thing Kelsy said, it's so telling that her now brother, he didn't ask a single question about what she went through, therapy, nothing. And it's so wild, like thinking back how many times I've been in therapy. In and fucking out of therapy. 1,000 times. I've struggled. And if I had someone who was if one of my siblings was in another therapy, I would be like, what's going on? What are you dealing with? Do you want help? Do you want me to listen? Do you want to talk? Can I help? Can I be there for you in any way? Like, let me. But there's nothing. I wonder. So I haven't been home for 10 years. 9 years. 9, 10. And I haven't talked to my dad since also 9, 10 years. And how many family interactions, like how many family gatherings have I not been to? Or extended family, they've been there, like my aunts and uncles, cousins, stuff like that. Do they ask, where am I? Like, that's so strange. When I got my childhood best friend, his dad sent me a Christmas card. He does that every year. And there are 3 siblings. Yeah. And in the card, 2 of the siblings, they were depicted, but not the last one, the youngest one. And I'm like, strange. So I asked, where is the youngest one? Because that's a normal thing to ask for me. No, he has no contact. I don't even know where he lives. So I wonder, that would be a really normal thing to ask. Where am I? And my grandmother, she passed earlier this year, just a few weeks after I went no contact with my parents. And she passed, and when I learned that, the day before the funeral, I learned that my dad was coming, so I decided not to go. And I spent all my summers with my grandfather and grandmother. I lived with them every summer since I was 14 or 15. So it will be really strange that I'm not there. And it's the silence is deafening. It's deafening. None of my siblings are asking, what's going on? How are you? What are you dealing with? How's therapy going? It's just a culture of silence. Like this monkey thing. It's so fitting. But when I'm thinking back to, so Kelsy said in the podcast, she said that her sister had a huge blowout when she was young with her dad, and in front of his then fiance, I think she was screaming, "But why? You raped me, you raped me." And the fiance, instead of actually being like alarmed by a child saying that, she was like, how can you say something so horrible? Never say that about your dad again. It's same. There's a book by a Norwegian author. It's fiction, although people say she bases all of her books on truth. So she's writing about family and incest, her own family and incest. And the sister published a book saying how all of that's just lies. So that's something. But in that book, the dad who raped the daughter, he at some point says to his wife, "What if I did?" Which is kind of like, this is like the hypothetical, what if I had actually robbed that bank? Then what? To try to like suss out the possibilities. And she shut him down. So like these small or not so small ways of trying to get the truth out. Truth wants out. And I'm thinking about myself. Like, keep talking and keep saying something else all the time. So I'm now that my sister, the youngest one, has a kid, it, along with this practice of like my 6-year-old daughter, imagining her, just looking back at my mom telling me straight to my face, well, I guess you realized by now I don't believe you. I believe your dad. She doesn't believe me, she believes my dad. And then she's like, why are you not wanting to talk to me? Why are you going no contact? Why are we not having a normal family relationship? If my sister, if her son told her, "Mom, something really bad happened to me. And he is in tears and he is struggling to tell. And she dismisses him straight out. I don't believe you. Of course that will have a consequence for their relationship. Of course that will ruin his trust in her. I mean, when I look at them, he is running to her as she is the sole source of safety. She is his everything. When he and he was still very young then, when my sister was visiting me and I was watching him while she was taking a shower, and he was sleeping, but he woke up while she was in the shower. So he woke up and there's a stranger there. It's me. And I'm trying to comfort him, but he is inconsolable. He's crying and crying and crying. My sister comes out and she's like, "Oh, you want mom?" And he's just like reaches arms out and like twists to get to her. And then he calms. Because that's safety. Like, just recognizing that that's what a parent is. Should be. Wasn't for me. But getting an example of that, like sanctuary, safety. I'm safe now. Like refuge. Like I never had that. It's foreign to me. Like I had to witness it, like with my sister and her son, to kind of like feel it, to grasp it. And it's the same with my practitioner. When I keep showing up a mess and I'm dealing with all my anticipation based on my experience. I'm anticipating him being impatient, him having had enough. Am I not over this by now? I'm expecting all my mom's reactions. Especially when I'm struggling with a thing for a long time, which I have a relationship in my life I'm struggling with for a long time. And I'm expecting myself to be able to deal with it and let go, or whatever, solve it. So it's really hard to keep showing up and being like, this still hurts, I still don't know what to do. And he is unwavering. Like, I'm here, this is life. I'm here. And this is how he's bringing me back to myself every time. Every time. It's not about solving it, it's about being there with me. And just imagining if I had that as a parent. If I could come to someone and be met with, "I want you. You're safe here. Tell me. Talk to me. Unburden yourself. Let me be here. Let me hold you. Let me love you. You're okay. I know this hurts. We'll figure it out. You'll be okay. I got you. Nothing's wrong with you." Imagine having that over and over and over again. Instead of, I'm so glad Kelsy said that she's not much on speaking terms with her mom. She's not at all at speaking terms with her dad. Until he reached out to one of his siblings, must be, because she said he reached out to her aunt and he had read Kelsey's writings on Substack, and she's writing about what happened to her. And she's explicit, more explicit than most people I've heard. And she talks about what happened, which I like. and the dad has been like, oh, I saw she's been writing some stuff about me, and how does she have the audacity to make such claims or accusations about me? I don't doubt that she was raped, but it must have been her stepdad, not me. Which is similar to what my mom had said. What my mom said, that, okay, maybe I was raped, but must have been someone else, huh? When I said, I think it happened to my sister as well. Wow, you have to draw the line somewhere. That's too much. How convenient for a dad. Just have a resource of satisfying, gratifying your own self. So fucking twisted. She said something that I've never thought about before, because she had an orgasm. I think in two of the rapes, she had an orgasm. And she said it was terrifying. I never thought about that. She said it's so different when you're in consensual pleasure and the pleasure is building and you're surrendering to the pleasure, compared to when someone's doing something. I never thought about this. When someone's doing something to you and you don't want it and you're terrified and you can't stop the feeling from coming. How much I would hate that, to feel completely out of control towards my own body, that it's doing something I do not want it to do. And then probably you're trying to not brace, but to like clench yourself so it doesn't happen, but then it happens anyway. So it's like, because when you're surrendering, you're leaning into it and you're opening, but when you're trying to restrict and tighten down, so it's two opposing forces. I imagine that must feel quite brutal then, when that orgasm comes. How can a man do something like that? Or a mother, for that sake? Just how can an adult do that? And he did to the sister, to Kelsy, and to a friend of them as well. Because if I'm thinking back to my childhood, the nightmares, so terrified of something bad happening. Before I had this period of time, before going to bed, my mom had to promise me, or my dad had to promise me, that they wouldn't die in a plane crash, or they wouldn't die in this horrible, gruesome way. Because I was so scared of that. I had stomach ache all the time. Went to the doctor, no one could find anything. Thinking about like my sister, this is also so interesting, because in the podcast, Kelsey is talking openly about witnessing her sister, now brother, being raped. And I've always wondered, like, how do people deal with talking about something? Because she talks a lot about like respecting other people's privacy, and like her therapist said, like, don't let people remember their story in their own time. But Kelsey's story is that her first trauma was witnessing her sister being raped and her sister saying, "If you tell anyone, I will kill myself." The silencing. It's the not so much necessarily the trauma in and of itself, but like how it's dealt with. That is, I don't know if I should say more of the trauma, but if like she said that if you're raped and then you can tell and you're believed and you can process and someone's there for you and correct action is taken, you do much better compared to being threatened into silence, keeping it for yourself, not being believed, all that. I also don't know what to make when Kelsey had flashbacks at 19 and she told her mom, and the mom said, "I'm not surprised." Like, oh, you suspected? Or, like, what does that mean? But how do you talk about things that one thing is outing my dad in a way, but like if I suspect my sister was also abused, if I expect my best friend back then when I was a kid that she was also raped, and her dad and my dad, they were very close friends, and at some point in kindergarten, the kindergarten employees, they had given my friend, her mom, a note, like they wanting to have a talk with her because they suspect my friend's being molested. Her mom dismisses that. And one time when my friend is 16, comes home and mom's drunk and mom's telling about that note, just like that. And my friend back then, former friend, like, I talked to her, I messaged her years back asking how she was doing because I had like suspicions, and she said no, she was real struggling with panic attacks, and when she was a teenager she was drinking so much she was blacking out. Like, it's just lots of things. Like, her mom died of cancer. To me, that's suppression of feelings. I can't no, so much light now. Like, when I was a kid, having the nightmares, being so scared of something horrible happening, having to ask my mom, "Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me?" My mom angrily answering, "Of course I love you, you're stupid." Like, why are you asking? You're a bother. Having, by the time I was 11, 10 maybe, being so scared of leaving the house, of being outside, getting panic attacks. They sending me to a child psychiatrist. She is asking, what are you afraid of? And I'm like, there's a hand under my bed. talk about trying to speak what's going on. There's a hand under my bed. There's a man outside my window. To the people, I asked for the school was the one who sent notice to my parents that something was weird. Now I'm thinking, why the fuck didn't my parents catch that? I've been talking at school. I don't remember this at all, but it says in the papers that there was a man outside my bedroom door and he was peeing. What a weird thing to say. What's that? Why? Someone's naked peeing. Why this nakedness and this thing that involves a penis? When I was 11, in 7th grade, we had this wow, internet had come. So we had this chat program. Mirk, I remember. And you could search for groups. I'd search for the Kongsberg, the city I lived in at that point. Searched for that group and found people there and talked. I talked to someone. I was 11, he was 21. He drove. We set up a meeting. He drove to meet me in recess, our lunch recess. He parked his car at the bus stop next to the schoolyard, and I freaked out and locked myself in the bathroom. What the fuck? 11, 21. If I had a daughter and she was 11, they're small still. And then a 21-year-old is talking to her. I'm like, what's wrong with him? Why is he talking to my kid? What the fuck? Get away. I mean, there's just so many things. Like my parents being part of my therapy sessions when I was a kid. Can't believe, I keep coming back to this, I can't believe like how, and Kelsy talks about this in the conversation as well. How the dad said, this is our secret. You're relying, you're doing the worst you can do. You're doing the worst you can do. You're facing prison, you're facing divorce, you're facing ostracization, whatever, like being, don't know the word if I'm saying it right. You're facing shaming, all sorts of things. And you're relying on an 8-year-old to not tell. Like, that, I can't imagine. They must be a different breed of people, because I can't imagine having done something wrong, being afraid of being caught, and knowing that my secret lies within that 8-year-old, which can blabber anything at any point by accident. So then knowing I've done that to my child, and now I'm in therapy with that child, and the child saying there's a hand under my bed. That's the feeling I get. How do you live with that? How did he live with that, my dad? How? But also at the same time, like, and then I told my whole family, and nothing changed. Well, except I removed myself from my family. Like, the problem removed itself. They're not grasping. They're not grasping. They're not grasping shit. I wonder if my sister, who has a kid, at one point, I wonder if she will be like, wow, our mom did that to her child. If she will like have that realization. And she'll be horrified. Can't believe. Wow, no one wants the truth. This kind of truth, no one wants it. When Kelsy talks about her sister coming out as a lesbian at some point, and she said it's so brazen, like the truth is right up there because the perpetrator, the rapist, he knows no one wants to see the truth. So he said, the dad said, she just calls him the rapist. The rapist said, when Kelsey's sister told that she was a lesbian, you're only a lesbian because of me. Implying, of course, because he raped her. That's why she turned into a lesbian. Just saying that straight out. That's evidence. That's evidence right there. I wonder, like, I don't remember if I was 7, 8. I think I told that before, sensitive and vulnerable, but I had sex, or tried to have sex, with my best friend and our neighbor. They took turns. And I never knew anyone knew until, must be years ago now, some years ago, that my mom said, oh, yeah, she knew, because we were doing it in the bathroom in the basement of my best friend's house. We lived like in like houses next to each other, and I was in and out there as if they were my own family. We were really close friends, best friends. And the dad, I think, had caught up on what we were doing and told my parents. No one fucking had a conversation with me. I think if I had a 6-year-old daughter and I was told, hey, she and my son, they were trying to have sex, or they were doing these things, I'll be like, yeah, how would I be? How does she know? How does she know about the sex stuff? Where did you learn that? That would be my first question. I'll be like, how is she doing? Is she okay? Like, really? Was she pressured? Why did she feel like how does she know about sex? And is she okay? And did something happen to her? I would want to have a conversation with her and hear her feelings and her thoughts and what happened and how she feel, and no one did that to me. My sister, not the youngest one, but the middle one, I remember she must have read my diary and threatened to tell when I was like 10, 11, 12. She threatened to tell people in my class or at school that I had had sex with someone. And I was mortified. I was panicked about that. Like, if people find out, I don't even know why. I was just horrified. It's not normal, I think, to be in and out of therapy. If I hear about someone who's been in and out of therapy, I'm like, whoa, what happened to them? Something really bad must have happened. It must be something serious, or they won't be in and out of therapy. But that's me. I'm that person. It's hard to grasp still. I mean, I'm not grasping it. I'm saying it, the words, but I'm not feeling it. Kelsy said in the conversation that how much it affected her sex life. She said her vagina was completely numb. I'm like, well, I only have my own, so I don't know. I don't know. Is maybe I'm not feeling much. Maybe I'm supposed to feel more. It's hard to know without having any comparison, you know. I don't know what I could have had or what I can have. I only know what I have. Like, that's my normal. It's still. I was telling my practitioner in my last session, like, and I've struggled with boundaries in regards to sex my whole life. I wasn't able to say no. I wasn't able to. Like, I really wasn't able to. Parts took over, and I was like, yeah, I'm taking the lead. I'm being the aggressor because that way I have control. And I hear myself saying to my practitioner, I don't want to have sex with everyone. He's like, yay. It's just a strange feeling being like, yeah, maybe I would like to experience sex, but not with that guy. Like, that's new to me. Because I'm used to that guy wants to have sex with me. How do I get in the mood so I can say yes? That's my usual way of operating. Reading what he wants and then figuring out how can I be ready. Never. Oh, wait. I'm sneezing because I'm sick. Never have I had this question of, wait, do I want it? And do I want it on these terms? Do I want it right now? Hold on. I've never had that hold on. My whole 20s in and out of therapy, and my parents really never asked me about it. That's strange. Being so not involved when I'm clearly struggling. I'm coming up to an hour, and then the recording will stop by itself. So I will stop it. Maybe I'll come back and talk more. Let's see. Thank you for listening. See you.